Joining me now, three of my favorite folks to analyze what's happening with politics in this country. No small task, I assure you. Here in New York, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist, New York Daily News, Michael Goodwin. Miguel Perez, syndicated columnist. Good to have you gentlemen with us. In D.C., in our D.C. bureau, Jonathan Martin, Politico.com. Thank you for being with us. Let's begin, if I may, with you, Michael. In Las Vegas yesterday, Senator Clinton said no woman or man is illegal. What in the world is going on?
Well, she's unleashed. Having won in New Hampshire, she's feeling her oats, and I think that she realizes she's in a real battle, and so there's going to be, I think, a micro-targeting for every ethnic group, every racial group, gender, whatever breakdown you can do.
Identity and group politics are with us.
Absolutely. And what's interesting, of course, you didn't see that so much in New Hampshire and Iowa because essentially it's a white, Christian states. Now everything's gone.
Well, as Jon Stewart said to me last night on his show, he said the diversity amounted to cold white people in Iowa for the caucuses and colder white people in New Hampshire. So I suppose that I'm sorry, it struck me as amazingly funny. What do you make of it,
Well,
Miguel?
for us minority voters, the fact that the primary system is set up this way is not very beneficial because we don't live in Iowa and we don't live in New Hampshire, so we do have to wait for them to get, African Americans have to wait for them to get to South Carolina. Latinos have to wait to get involved in Nevada maybe now that it's finally getting to us. So yeah, they do have to appeal to certain groups. It's American history, Lou. It's happened throughout history that candidates go out and campaign among certain ethnic groups. That's what's happening now. I don't approve of the Hillary's pandering. I necessarily am not going to vote for her because she likes guacamole and chips. But
well, she didn't say she liked it. She's looking at great national issues in terms of guacamole and chips.
But even that's not consistent with her position on immigration. She voted for the fence as a standalone vote.
But
that was then.
But she goes back and forth. She flips flop. That's unfortunate.
And Jonathan, before your thoughts on this? I mean, is pandering just simply what we're going to have to put up with from any candidate? What do you think?
The Democratic Party is made up of an amalgam of coalitions, and obviously when you get to places like South Carolina, like Nevada, the sort of ethnic differences come to the fore. And the fact is, there are a lot of black votes who are going to be in this Democratic primary in South Carolina, Hispanics in places like Nevada, and so the issues naturally are going to change. And yes, Lou, pandering can rear its head.
And you know what? I think it's fun to examine when it does because it really shows the rest of the country. It's still a nation that has some pretension to democracy, and the majority will seek out representation this year. I think that's going to be the difference this year. I don't think a single one of these candidates, either the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, has figured out that there is an awakening on the part of independents, at least, that they're not going to put up with any more of this nonsense, and that there will be a rule of the majority, or there will be something else, because this is not going to continue.
I suspect what they're thinking, Lou, is I've got to get through the primaries first, one state at a time, and then I'll worry about the general election if I'm fortunate enough to get there. So they're going to play it state by state, group by group.
Business as usual.
Unfortunately, then they come off as complete hypocrites because they've taken several positions. They want to try to please everybody, and that's unfortunate.
And Politico.com, Jonathan.
Yes, sir.
My gosh, racial tensions in the Democratic race. Right. Obama supporters taking comments made by both Bill and Hillary Clinton to be racist. Right. What in the world is going on?
Well, Bill Clinton, in the closing days of the New Hampshire primary, referred to Obama's campaign as a fairy tale. And then Senator Clinton herself, in an interview, again, I think one day before the New Hampshire primary, said that Dr. King could not have done what he did in the 60s without the action of President Johnson. These were sort of two comments that were taken by many in the black community as sort of indirect swipes, and this is now being turned into an issue in the South Carolina primary, where, again, like I mentioned, about half of the Democratic primary is going to be comprised of black voters. Now, there's no question about it.
The other half, by the way, is our colleague Roland Martin reminded me, the other half will be white.
Yes, sir. But the fact is that the black vote's key in South Carolina, and the Obama campaign obviously wants to get out as many blacks as possible. And when the Clintons give them fodder like this, naturally, they're going to take advantage of it.
Is this truly fodder? I mean, who has been more sensitive, more representative of African American interests than Bill Clinton, for God's sake?
Lou, this is politics. Of course, this is fodder.
And it's tactical too. I mean, Obama wants to keep her on the defensive. You know, maybe run up the score in South Carolina, make her spend more money, create doubts about her, you know, because he hasn't won it yet. So he should win South Carolina, but that's what she did with, that's what she's doing with women. That's what he's going to do with blacks.
Look, Obama doesn't need to be playing the race card here. It's very unfortunate that this is happening because the momentum is with him in the African American community. There was a lot of African Americans who were with Hillary. They're realizing that this guy is winning, he's electable, and they're going to go with him. He doesn't need to play this kind of games.
Is it going to cost him?
Absolutely. I don't think we should be playing the race card at this point.
I don't think we should be playing the race card at any point. And one of the things we're going to be talking about are the number of people playing a race card, including, of course, Al Sharpton, in a sports venue, for crying out loud. More with our panel here in a moment, coming up at the top of the hour, Out in the Open, and Rick Sanchez. Rick.
Hey, Lou, I've got a camera set up right now at Las Vegas Airport. At any moment, O.J. Simpson's plane is going to land there, and we're going to get some shots of him. It's unbelievable that I would even be reporting this, but it looks like Mr. Simpson may be going back to jail. We're going to explain to you why a judge is asking him to go back and do some splaining, as they say. Again, is he going to be embarrassed? Is he going to be angry? You'll see the reaction as it happens. And then the latest on this breaking story, unbelievable story about this missing corporal, this Marine who was pregnant. She's now been discovered to be dead. They've just found her body. And the real question is for folks over at Camp Lejeune, if she told her superiors that she had been raped by some man, why isn't that man separated from her, taken apart, put in the brig? Something. There's a lot of questions to be asked here, and we're going to be trying to ask those questions. Lou, back to you, my friend.
Thank you, Rick. Rick Sanchez, Out in the Open next. We'll have more on the presidential campaign here with our panel. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
The Democrats face the toughest questions yet. CNN and the Congressional Black Caucus Institute present the Democratic Debate, Monday night, January 21st, 8 Eastern.
This election season,
stop saying Barack Obama isn't black enough.
the voice of reason is back.
Usually when people are on a quest, they say it's romantic. No,
it's way not romantic.
Real time with Bill Maher.
How can you look in a monkey's eye and want to start a monkey fight? Can you just let it all out on our show here tonight? I mean, it's on HBO. Anything could happen.
Unabashed, uncensored, unfiltered election coverage. All new episodes of Real Time with Bill Maher tonight at 11, only on HBO.
Every year, Americans buy millions of barrels of oil from Venezuela. Countless families and businesses depend on that oil to get to work, to get around, travel, and to keep warm. And no one says it's wrong to buy it. But many families just can't afford today's oil, and too many face winter with little or no heat, like the Fitz family. Scott had a liver transplant last year. His daughter Lindsay has cancer. When money is short, they've had to buy fuel in small containers and carry them home. At Citizens Energy, we think that's wrong. That's why we deliver heating oil to thousands of needy American families. Oil donated by Citgo. This oil is from Venezuela. Some people say it's wrong to take it. I say the real wrong is what's happening to the Fitz family. If you need help, give us a call at Citizens Energy at 1-877-JOE for oil.
Because no one should be left out in the cold.
I've been waiting for so long, now I finally found someone to stand by me. We saw the writing on the wall as we felt this magical fantasy. Listen, baby, I've had the time of my life.
Book now, save 50%. Call your travel agent or 1-800-SANDALS.
Suzanne Summers' secret to youth and how you can achieve it. Larry King Live tonight.
We're back with Michael Goodwin, Miguel Perez, Jonathan Martin, Politico.com. Your paper, Ben Smith, reporting on the racial tensions now between Clinton and Obama's camps. Andrew Cuomo in this thing over a comment about shuck and jive. Al Sharpton taking on a Golf Channel anchor for a comment, an idiotic comment about Tiger Woods. What in the world is going on here?
Well, Cuomo's comment about shucking and jiving was not directed towards Obama, but it's being interpreted as such by some who are Obama supporters. Look, the fact
for
is,
their political convenience.
Well, of course, the Clintons and some of their allies here have said some things that have not been the most sort of smartly worded, shall I say. And the Obama campaign, like any campaign, looking for every advantage possible going into the South Carolina primary, is jumping on these things now.
And too much of the reporting, in my opinion, I don't know what you think, Miguel, too much of the reporting in this country, I mean, people just swallow it up, regurgitate it on their front pages or their broadcasts without context, accepting the idea that suddenly Al Sharpton is the arbiter of good taste and judgment, that we're going to put up with political tricks in the case of Andrew Cuomo, who's got an outstanding record, both on race relations and having good judgment. And by the way, shuck and jive, I mean, I'm not completely guaranteed convinced that that is an expression that is solely limited to one ethnic group in this country.
Petty little stuff that we're getting hung up on here. I mean, you know, the fact is that we have issues, important issues that we should be discussing in detail, and getting all worked up over these little comments is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
The danger is that this will become the campaign.
Absolutely.
This will drive the campaign for 2, 3, 4 days, back and forth, people's reactions to it, whether Clyburn in South Carolina now endorses Obama over Clinton's comment. That becomes the campaign, and the big issues get lost.
Bill Richardson's out of the campaign. He was the aspiring Latino Hispanic candidate. He styled himself as such. Your thoughts?
Interesting that he was waiting to get out west so that he could get some Hispanic votes in the primary, and he didn't even wait. I think Mr. Richards has been running for vice president all along. I think he's on Hillary's camp all along. I think he will endorse Hillary very, very soon. I'm surprised that he didn't, do this in New Hampshire, because if they had called on him and they had said, "Listen, we need you in New Hampshire because we need to win," he would have endorsed her then. I think it's going to happen any time now.
We're out of time, but I mean, would you agree that the idea that looking at the Hispanic vote in this country is monolithic, either Democrat or Republican, is absolutely absurd?
No, we're all waiting for Bloomberg.
I love it. Jonathan, thank you very much for being with us. Jonathan Martin, Politico.com. The New York Daily News, illustrious Michael Goodwin, Miguel Perez, syndicated columnist. Always, Miguel, good to have you with us. Bloomberg, here you come. Still ahead, more of your thoughts on the results of our poll and some of Jon Stewart's thoughts on our polling here. Stay with us. We'll be right back.